of us. They can't tame us. Don't give them a reason to take us. Time is now, no time to wait up. Keep it raw, uncut, sit down, talk it out. Come together, we as man, don't have to shoot it out. Keep it raw, uncut, sit down, talk it out.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the RELLRAWUNCUT podcast. I'm your host, Rells. Make sure you guys go like and subscribe to YouTube and Twitch pages, 2920 TV. Make sure you go follow on X, formerly known as Twitter, Mr._2920. And I'm joined by a guest of mine, a dude I've gotten to know for the last couple of weeks. Real cool dude out of Youngstown, Ohio, Reginald Gilchrist. How you doing, brother?
Good. How you doing?
How's everything going?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. So how's life been treating you these last couple of weeks?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good. How's life been treating you these last few weeks?
It's been hectic. I had my class reunion, my 25th class reunion this past weekend. That pretty much I can say I hosted. It was me and a couple other classmates. We put it together. It was our first one. 25 years later, so it was rough. Gathering the money, dealing with arguments, getting everybody together. It all turned out real good though, but it was rough.
All right. Well, at least it turned out good in the end, though. Everybody had a good time.
Oh yeah. Everybody had a great time. Everybody looked good. Shout out to Youngstown, Ohio, D-Ran class of 2000. All the classes of D-Ran High.
So what is it like living in Youngstown, Ohio? What is the atmosphere out there?
It's changing now. You can see the gentrification signs everywhere, especially where I live. I've primarily, well, in my childhood growing up here, I primarily lived on the north side. I lived on the south side for a long time too, but that's when I was an adult. But on the north side of Youngstown, you definitely see gentrification. One of the most dangerous neighborhoods in Youngstown on the north side growing up was Elm Street. It's not like that no more. You see people jogging, walking up and down the street with their dogs. You see people of all races. Growing up, there was nothing but black people around, nothing. And I grew up in the height of the crack epidemic, right? I moved here in 90. Mm-hmm. So it was rough. But, I mean, you got a lot of tragedies that happen here. But, in my opinion, it's more out of desperation. This is the second poorest city in America. So when you take that in consideration with the way the gun laws are here in the neighboring states, it can be somewhat dangerous. But overall, it's better now than growing up, for sure.
Okay. So you just said it's the second poorest city in the country. Describe the atmosphere amongst the people? Like, what is the survival mode like, considering that you just said about it being the second poorest?
Well, mostly everybody got some kind of hustle. Most people know how to sell shit. Most people entrepreneurs. Most people been moved away. A lot of people's dream here is to move to Columbus, Ohio, or Atlanta. It's a good place to live, I would say, because it's affordable.
Mm-hmm.
And again, times are changing. You see the signs of gentrification, which I have no problem with because you're cleaning up the neighborhood, you ask me. But I think that because it still is the second poorest city in America, I think a lot of people are frustrated, angry, broke, things like that. There's a lot of good people that come from here too. So you got a little bit of both.
Okay. So with it being a poor society, a poor neighborhood, a poor city, I can imagine a lot of drugs and alcohol and stuff like that on top of the violence. So I want to bring up your personal struggles growing up and dealing with how was it dealing with alcoholism?
Okay. So growing up, because the way alcohol is presented to people here in America,
Mhm.
you don't really look at it as a drug. That's the first problem with it, right? We do not look at alcohol as a deadly drug. The truth of the matter is, it's one of the most dangerous drugs that we have on earth. It always has been. It always will be. It's one of the most toxic drugs we have. It's also, in my opinion, probably the most addictive because I've tried other things. So that was the problem from the gate. Also, on my father's side, they're alcoholics. My father was alcoholic. His sisters were alcoholics. My children were alcoholics. I'm an alcoholic. I haven't had a drink in almost 8 years, but I always been an alcoholic. Um, so a lot of times, what will happen is, okay, it's New Year's. Here, y'all can have a wine for y'all can have this, y'all can have that, and it seemed cool. It didn't seem like something that's addictive. I didn't know the damage you can do. So it was more of a social and a family thing.
Okay, so at what when did you realize that it was an addiction for you? When did you realize that it got to be too out of control?
Okay, so I really wasn't a drinker or like that. I was a weed smoker. I
Hmm.
would only drink on occasions. Give me 1 second.
No problem.
I would only drink on occasions, right? I would drink New Year's, birthdays, things like that. It wasn't really my thing. I had got with my daughter's mom, and I'm not accusing her of being an alcoholic because I don't really see her as one. But she's a drinker, right? But she drinks on occasions, maybe the weekend, whatever. But she is a drinker. So time went on, we have more parties, pick up a little bit, but I really wasn't my thing. I ended up getting caught with a gun when I was in my 20s, my early 20s, and the gun laws were a lot different than they are now. Either way, I still would have technically been breaking the law because it wasn't a gun that I had obtained legally. Was just say that I bought it from somebody, but it was off the
Hmm.
street. So I ended up having to go to jail for a few days, and I had to make a decision. It was either take a felony probation for a few years or go to prison, right? So I definitely decided to take the probation, and from that, it caused me to pick up my drinking because I couldn't smoke. I just couldn't smoke because it wasn't worth me risking going to prison about weed. So
Hmm.
I started picking it up more and more. I would be next thing you know, I would start walking to the store, getting a couple cans of beer and shit like that. Just shit I didn't normally even do. Every day, well, whenever I would get paid, once a week, now I'm buying cases of beer, a bottle, things like that. Then next thing you know, it's not just on the weekends anymore. I'm bored. Mostly I'm hustling at home. I don't got shit to do. I can't smoke. So time went on. I started drinking more. Then, as I was saying to you, I called myself a hustler. So at first I started selling X pills because in the early 2000s, that was the hot thing.
Hmm.
I didn't really want to sell like hard drugs anymore. I knew how to sell like crack and shit from my childhood, but I didn't want to do that. So I started selling X pills and shit. And so I ended up getting introduced to this stripper, and she was like, "Reggie, you're dumb." I'm like, "Why you said that?" She was like, "Because," she's like, "if you were to come up to my job and just bring some powder cocaine," she said that she's like, "You'll make a fucking killing." I didn't even know how to sell it. I knew how to sell
Hmm.
crack, but I didn't know how to sell that. But I did know who to get it from because I'm from the hood, so I knew where to get every drug from. So I knew somebody. So I started getting, you know, small amounts from him, you know, and I started selling just like she said. It was just like she said. Um, I started meeting more people, like friends of the family, and I was selling to them, drinking with them, drinking at the fucking strip club with them. Then I knew this younger white guy. He used to buy shit from me, and he would spend his whole check with me every Friday. One day I was at home bored by myself, and I'm like, damn, I wonder why people do this shit. And then I tried it, and it didn't do anything. It didn't do shit. I mean, absolutely nothing, bro. Nothing. So around like on a Friday, he called me like, he's like, Reg, what you doing? I'm like, shit. He like, you want to go have some drinks? Absolutely. I knew he was gonna be spending money with me too.
Mm-hmm.
Double whammy. Hell yeah. So he spent about $200 or $300 with me. Went to the bar. I started drinking with him, and to me, I that's that's when it all kicked in. He like, Reg, why don't you do a line with me? I'm like, no, I don't do that shit. And he just kept saying it. I'm like, man, here, because I had tried it or whatever. He didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And once I tried it, once I was drinking, I was hooked. So
Mm.
then, like, my drinking picked up more. Every time I would drink heavy, 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 then I would want to do that shit more. And it's just like, I just went off the deep end, just was going hard. But my drug of choice, it was always alcohol. That was the start of everything, truthfully, you know?
So pretty much the
So I
coke
said
was,
about my early 20s.
so the coke pretty much was like it was like a compliment to the alcohol.
I give you a perfect example. Do you drink?
Yeah, here and there.
Do you smoke? Do you smoke
No,
cigarettes
no,
or any tobacco product when you drink?
no.
Okay. So most people, when they drink, they have to smoke. They go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
When I used to drink, it went hand. I had to smoke. Black and Mouse. Once you do that shit when you're drinking, it's the same thing. And what ended up happening is if you were a real, real bad alcoholic, like how I was, I would drink until I would be almost passed out. And so if I do that shit, I'd be right back up, you
Mm-hmm.
know, which was made it worse because then I would keep drinking. So
Is it? I'm not gonna say is it hard now because you said you've been sober
so it's
8 years now. So is it somewhat difficult to be in public spaces with people drinking, or if they offer you a drink and you turn it down, do people kind of be like look at you like why you're not taking a drink?
yeah. The second part, yes. Well, yes to both answers, right? But the first part is yes, but not for the reason you think.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard because it's unavoidable. That's the one thing when we talk about alcohol. You can talk about any other drug you want. All you got to do is just don't go around motherfuckers that do it. When it comes to
Mm-hmm.
can't do that. It's impossible. You can. I mean, I cannot go to the bar. I can do that, but that's it. So to the second part of your question, it's the worst. It goes back to the first problem with alcohol. This is the first problem with alcohol. We don't look at it as if it's a drug. We
Mm-hmm.
don't look at it with the negative effects. It's just like we don't see it. It's right in our face, but we don't see it. So when you go around people that drink, especially once they're well, not incoherent, but once they're inebriated, once they got 2 or 3 of them in them, it's just like, come on, man. Fuck you mean, man. Like, okay, this past weekend. Fuck you mean, man. Shit, it been 25 minutes. You gonna have a drink. Bruh, do you realize that you're trying to turn me into a whole bum out here on the streets?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that? But they don't get that. They don't
Mm-hmm.
get that part. And no matter how many times you tell them, like, oh man, shit, you can just have 1 or 2. No, I can't. I got to have 12, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't understand that. So
I don't think
yes, it's
I
definitely
don't think
difficult.
for I don't think for a lot of people what they don't realize is that, like you said, alcoholism is a disease, and you can take your time and not drink, and like for example, for you, 8 years of not drinking, all it takes is one drink to
Mhm.
put you right back on the path that you tried to stay away from. And a lot of people don't understand that. People think, okay, you haven't drank for 8 years, one drink's not going to hurt, not realizing that one drink could change your whole life again.
It will instantly.
Hmm.
It will. And the reason why I say it will is because again, it impairs your judgment. That's the second problem with alcohol, right? We say that marijuana is the gateway drug. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Alcohol is. I can sit here and have conversations with you until tomorrow about things that have happened that I've seen drinking, situations I put myself in, situations I put other people in, shit I just been seeing from being around and things like that. I don't have no stories to tell you about where shit didn't happen while I was smoking weed. And I've been smoking weed since I've been 14 years old. Plain and simple.
There you have it. Um, so let's dive deep into another personal situation of yours. So you beat a murder charge. Um, in the short and in the long, what was the process behind that, and how were you able to beat the charge itself?
By telling the truth and adding some lies and people lying on me and fabricating the stories. So, one thing I want people to understand, anybody that sees this, the police are allowed to lie. And there's nothing you can do. You can't. There's no repercussions to it. You can't go back and sue them or anything like that. And I'm gonna prove to you what I'm saying to make it make sense to you. We've all watched the first 48, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see them tell the people every single time before they get them to confess, like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna talk to the prosecutor for you, or I'm gonna talk to whoever. He's working right with me, and we're gonna, get you this, that, and the third, and then they get life, right? They flat out lying to you. They're allowed to lie to get to the truth. They're allowed to tell one person that you said something that you didn't say, to get the next person to come out with the truth. They allowed to do all that, right? But the thing about it is, if you can catch them doing it, that's a different story. And so, again, like how I was just speaking on the first 48. Okay, so it looked just like that. When you're sitting right in the room, the confession room, it looked just like that. The only thing that's a variation is you may not be shackled to that table or not. I wasn't shackled to the table, and there wasn't no thing to shackle me in there. But there's a camera you can see, and there's a camera you can't. But the truth of the matter is, I didn't really do shit. You know, on the outside, we can sit here and say, "Oh yeah, you beat a murder case." Did I really kill somebody? No. Am I really gangster like that? No. If you ask anybody that know me, they're gonna verify and vouch to what I just said. They're gonna be like, "That nigga is not gangster at all. He gonna talk some shit to you. If you hit him, he gonna fight you. But that's as far as it's gonna go. He ain't popping shit. He ain't bodying shit. He's not like that." And I'm not. So a lot of times when I hear people say that, it's true. But I don't want to pretend like I'm just this straight up fucking OG because that's not true either. It's not true. But to truthfully answer your question, it was a tragic situation. Somebody lost their life. Beforehand, I didn't know who this person was. I had never seen him before, not a day in my life. I did not know that this person basically was a child. They were 18 years old, but they were basically a child. I didn't know that he just was a young dude trying to get some money. I didn't know that he really didn't have no money. I didn't know that The other two people involved basically was dope fiends. I didn't know none of that shit until I got there. And beforehand, I had said that I didn't want nobody to see my face or say my name. If I would have stuck to that and not going in when I first got there, they would have been never able to positively identify me. So this was around the time when my drinking just went over the deep end.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a felon at this point. I couldn't get no job. I got a lot of pride. I ain't working at no McDonald's or nothing like that. Um, I was fucking up my money, snorting it up, drinking it up, adding cut to get it back, which is making me lose flour. I mean, I'm saying flour 'cause that's what I was putting it, which is making me lose clientele and shit. I'm just going through some shit. So I knew this dude that I was cool with because he used to buy like CDs and DVDs from me, and I used to buy weed from him.
Mm-hmm.
I knew him because I knew his cousin, and his cousin used to sell me weed. But he introduced me to him because I had some classmates in college that wanted to get some weed, and I didn't know at the time that he was the muscle to make sure nothing happened. I didn't know that he would have fucking popped me at this point. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I know now, but I didn't know that. So I'm thinking, nigga, cool. Time go on, we become friends. He's a hustler, right? He getting money selling weed. This is when, you know, regular weed was going for like 1,500 $1,500 a pound. So he had a pretty sweet connect. His wife got to complaining to him about not having a job, which I don't understand why, because he had money. He ended up getting a job, working 7 days a week. She started complaining. He quit the job, tried to go back to selling weed. It didn't work. So now we're trying to put our heads together to come up with some money.
Mm-hmm.
He tells me that he has a cousin that be letting people come to her crib and set up shop and start hustling. I'm thinking that his cousin is a hustler. I'm not knowing that she's a dope fiend. I don't know this. So he says that she tells him that she don't let nobody to her house and like sit in the car and play the music and shit. So well, I'm telling you this part because they're saying that he's gonna pull all the way to the back of the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm skipping a lot of shit. I'm skipping a lot of shit because, like I told you before we started this story can go on for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. So basically, before we got there, I made it clear that I, I didn't want anything violent to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't want to have no gun on me because I don't own a gun, and I already got caught with a gun, and I'm on paper for the shit, and I don't think that you need two guns to rob one person. And I'm kind of like beforehand trying to minimize my role in this shit. I'm not this type of person really. I don't know what I'm doing. You see what I'm saying? You
Mm-hmm.
can't just wake up one day like, let's go rob. You have to have practice at the shit, or something can happen. I mean, it's easy for me to say that now, but that's what happened. So, like I was saying to you, I was kind of minimizing my position in this shit beforehand because I was scared. So before we got there, you know, the other person was kind of like, "Oh, well, all you gotta do is just, look out, just be there." Kind of made it seem like it was more of a moral support type of situation. And I'm telling them like, "Look, okay, that's fine, but don't shoot nobody in front of me." He's like, all right, that's cool. It's cool. I'm telling him too, like, look, I don't want nobody seeing my face. So we get there. And I start feeling like something in my stomach. It's telling me, don't do it. And I knew it right
Mm-hmm.
then and there.
Mm-hmm.
But, you always want to try to play cool and act tough and, show no fear. So I'm like, I don't want to go in. He like, well, I ain't going to say your name. And I just looked at him like, right then and there. I should have just stayed in the
Yeah.
door. I should have
Yeah.
just fucking stayed. I should have. So we get out, we go in, and again, I had never seen the other two people ever in my life. So we get in, and it's this dude. He's dark skinned, kind of stocky, but he's not. He's not taller than me. Probably like 5'8". Got this bandage on his chest. I feel like something. I don't. I know what happened at the time. I know. So he dapped me up. Boom. So there's this lady in there. As soon as I see her face, I see what's going on. So them three, they walk in the other room. Now this house is what we call a ranch style house, so it's only like one floor, maybe like an attic or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
So they go like in a bedroom. I don't know what they were saying. I can assume at this point what they were saying, and my assumption would be, who the fuck is he? Uh, is something go on? Is he cool? Shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're the
So when we
outsider
go
right now.
in, before, right, because they've had conversations about this 2 or 3 times previous to me not being there.
Mm-hmm.
So when we originally walked in the door, he makes up a fake name. He's like, "This is my dude, X-rated." I don't know where the fuck he made that up from. Just made it up out of nowhere. So, like I said, they went in the other room talking amongst themselves. So the one that was bandaged came back out, was like, "Well, you can just act like you're robbing me too." So I'm like, "Well, I don't want to hurt you or nothing, and I don't have no gun or nothing." So he like, "Well, I don't really care because the nigga owe me some money anyway." These are his exact words, right? So the woman whose house it was, she asked the person that I was with for $10. And the reason why she asked him for $10 was to call the person over there to buy some crack.
Mm-hmm.
She said that he keeps all his money on him and all his drugs on him at one time with no gun. I said, that doesn't even sound right. But mind you, I don't know anything about these people at this time. I don't know how old he is, right? Because if he was a person that was, fully an adult and had been in the streets for a while, I don't think that would have happened. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think he would have been more cautious. Better. That's better for me to say, right? So, just like she said, he didn't have any weapon on him. He had all his money on him, and he had drugs on him. We were so broke at the time that he didn't want to give her the money, but she was like, "Nigga, you gonna get it right back, bro." So he gave it to her. So she called him. He said he'll be there in like 10 minutes or some shit. We leave, ride around the neighborhood. I'm scared as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Ride around, ride around, ride around, ride around. He gets tired of riding around because again we're broke. He don't want to waste the gas. So we park like 2 doors down. The guy pulls up. We're hiding behind the house on the other side. He pulls all the way to the back of the driveway, just like I said. And then the guy asked me, like, "Are you ready, Reg?" And I said, "Yeah." But I wasn't. I was scared as fuck. He runs right up on him, and I just stand there and I'm peeping around the house like that, like out the corner of my eye, like just looking up. He runs up on him with the gun pointed at his face, and he tells him, "Get out the car! Get out the car! Get out the car!" The other person that was in the house was in the car too.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, wait a minute, 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 wait a minute. He slaps the gun,
Mm.
opens the door with his other hand, takes off, takes off running. As soon as he takes off running, I see him go. So yeah, take run the other direction. Now, the whole time, mind you, I'm on the other side of the house, froze up like a little bit, scared as fuck, right? Boom, I take the fuck off. So as I'm running, I start thinking like, where the fuck am I going? I'm with him. I stop. I start going back. He zooms right past me. Like, come on, Reg, come on. So I'm thinking I'm in shape. No. The more we was running, the farther he was getting away from me. And he's older. He gets to the curb, twists his ankle, boom, fall face first in the middle of the street, grab all his shirts, boom, drops the gun, boom. By the time that happened, I catch up. I'm like, come on, man, come on, come on. So he just laying on the ground. He get up, he's gathering himself, going like this and shit, making sure the gun is straight. So we get up, we get in the car. He like, keys. I'm just sitting there looking at him like, come on, bro. He finally gets the right key. Boom. Puts it in the ignition. He pulls off. He like, Reg, which way? I said, ain't fucking way we came, bro. We pull off, going like 20 miles an hour. I'm not gonna say the name of the street, but it's a bridge. We get to this bridge. Here come the fucking police. Right? We're going this way. They're coming this way. They keep going. Whew. We get to his crib. I jump out. I get him in my car. Dip. I come home. Got rid of the store. The clothes I had to get rid of the evidence, I got rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
I had braids and an afro at the time. The very next day, well, fuck that. Right as I'm sleeping, I'm going like this. Taking my shit out the very next day. Picking my shit out. I dropped her off work. The workshop. Then time. Youngstown, Ohio, East Side. Latest homicide. Victim shot 4 times. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, damn, this motherfucker dead. Right? So after that, my brother and sister called me because they had came up on some money and they wanted me to take them to the mall. They still kids. And then, or actually, they go to school with this person. I just don't know it at the time, right? So I take them where they gotta go. I go pick up I take them where they gotta go. I go back home. This is when people still had house phones and shit. So I look at the caller ID. This motherfucker in the car, my phone like 3 times. And the reason why I don't know what to do is because this nigga didn't kill somebody right in front of me. I don't know what he gonna do now. Like I don't know where his mind at. But I can think of a few places. You know what I'm saying? So then I'm like, I ain't got no choice but calling. No choice. So I call him back. I'm like, hello. He's like, you at the crib? I don't even know why he asked me that because it's on the caller ID. He's like, you at the crib? I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, I'm on my way. Boom, hang up. I'm like, fuck. So he coming to my house now, right? This is less than 24 hours. This is maybe like, maybe like 16, 17 hours after the fact, right? He wants to come over. He comes to my house. We got these hardwood fucking floors. This motherfucker pacing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm making a sandwich. I don't know if I should stab him with a knife. I don't know what the fuck I should do. I don't know what he on. So he like, man, that nigga was dumb, Reg. That nigga was dumb. That nigga was dumb. I'm like, dude. He like, he like, I'm about to go out of town. I'm like, when? He like tomorrow. Now this is like 2 days after the shit didn't happen. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
nigga, you better leave now, bro. What the fuck? You should have been gone in. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So he like, Reg, you cool. You ain't got nothing to worry about. You know what I'm saying? You ain't do shit, blah, 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 and all this other shit. I'm like, all right. So I'm thinking I'm cool. But then again, I ain't stupid. Because all I do is press the first 48 every day at this time, right? So listen. So I tell my baby mom. I said, listen, you just with me. Everybody that's involved in shit, we all felons and we all career criminals basically. I said, you not. You not like that. Cause I don't at the time I was in the streets and shit. So I ain't fuck with no females that was into shit like that. If
Mm-hmm.
you wasn't like nerdy and square and had a good job and shit like that, I'm not talking to you. I don't like that. You know, I just they like my sisters and shit. I don't date women like that. You know, they're cool and nice look at, but So I'm telling her, I'm like, they gonna believe you. I said, but the first thing that they gonna say to you verbatim is they gonna take your kids if you lie to them. I said, I'm gonna show you, and I showed her the episode.
The first 48.
I said, every woman they say the same fucking thing. I said, because plan on your injuries. I said, not see, they don't even have the power to do that. I said, they don't even have the. I was like, they don't even have the power. That goes back to my original point. They're allowed to lie to you. You see what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So I'm telling her this shit. I said, because eventually I'm gonna need to lean on you, and what I'm gonna need to lean on is I never left this fucking house, right? She's like, oh, I got you, boom, 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 this, that, and the third. So days go by, like a week. Now during the process of this, we was waiting for a washer and dryer because it was income tax time.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was younger, like I said, this is when I was drugged out and drinking and shit. So I wasn't a very nice or good individual. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was the type that would borrow my baby mom car, drop her off, cheat on her till she get off work, other nigga like that. You know what I'm saying? So all I really did was babysit my own child. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that's just an easy way to make sure somebody getting the shit we need. And free babysitter, right? So it was Monday morning, a week after the incident happened. Somebody knocking at the door. Boom, 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 boom. And I tried to ignore it, but it just wouldn't go away. And I was thinking the whole time because I'm super paranoid. Boom, 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 boom. My daughter, she a baby at the time, but she can talk. She like, Daddy, Daddy. I'm like, what? She like, somebody at the door. Boom, 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 boom. I get up. I look out the crack of the window upstairs. I look downstairs. I see like three white men with blazers on, and it was a wrap. It was a fucking wrap. I knew it. I knew it. And I also knew if I didn't go downstairs and open that door, what was going to happen.
Yep.
So I went downstairs with the craziest shit on. I had some Sean John goddamn velour jogging pants, some black Reeboks with no socks on, a white collar shirt like this with no t-shirt on up under it. Um, what else I had on? Something else. I go to the door. They asked me, "Baby, my apartment." I'm like, "Nah." And then they ask me, they're like, They called me by my name. They was like, "Is her boyfriend Reginald here?" And I'm like, "That's me." And they didn't know it wasn't me because my hair was cut, right? So they like, "We got him in the front." They came in. They like, well, we need you to come down to the station and shit because we want to ask you some questions about a homicide that we think that you were involved with. They're like, we think that you were the least involved, but we know that you were involved. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I have my daughter standing right there because she followed me everywhere I go at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So they're like, you come down. I said, well, let me ask you a question. They're like, I'm like, my and it, yeah. So I said, okay, come get her. They said, yeah. So I get up to get the phone. They pull the guns out on me. I'm like,
Damn.
you just said I can call her. They're like, they're like, we said you can call. We didn't say that you can get up. I said, all right. So I tell her, come get my daughter. She like, for what? I said, just come get her. The police her. So I sit back down. They come get her. They're like, we ain't gonna handcuff you here inside because your child here. So I'm like, all right, can I get my coat? They're like, yeah. I get up, boom, they pull the guns on me again. I'm like, why y'all keep saying I can do shit, but you know what I'm saying? You keep pulling guns on me. So they take me down to the station. I lawyer up on them quick as fuck. Um, then they took me to what's called the city jail. I had never been there ever, and I've been to jail before. I had never been to the city jail. Building we got here, and the window is just like this fan, and it's open to in this cell with these fucking bars with no mat, and just let you just sit there. Like they didn't make me take my clothes off or nothing. I had my coat on, everything, and they just made me
Mm-hmm.
sitting there for like 8 or 9 hours and shit. Didn't feed me, so when they came and got me that day, it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. In jail, the child time was like 4 minutes or 5. He had 4, and like 3 or 4 at night. I mean, eating his dinner, Amy. So the way I got out of that shit, because there's a lot to it. I'm gonna skip I'm gonna skip months now. I'm just gonna skip months. So the same dude that was bandaged, right, and the
Mm-hmm.
girl that was at the house, they played them two against each other.
Oh.
So when you go to jail, you get what's called either an affidavit or a discovery pack. It means the same thing, right? What it means is it's like everything that all the evidence that they have against you, all of it, they have to give it to you. So the third day I was there, I had this big, thick ass fucking manila envelope full of shit. Listen, motherfuckers was calling anonymous, people I knew and everything.
Mm.
Like I couldn't believe this. I said, damn, this motherfucker. Listen, just one girl I graduated with, and she wasn't at the reunion yesterday or this past weekend, right? I ain't seen her since then, right? The woman who was involved in the crime, she confided in her because she's her cousin.
Mm-hmm.
She called anonymous and shit. And her
Wow.
dude, like, damn, motherfucker. My baby mom's friends started snitching. My baby mom snitched on me. She cracked. They told her they was gonna take the kids. I'm skipping that part. She told. Um, yeah, I was up Shit's Creek facing 38 to life. But again, since you got the affidavit discovery package, you said blah blah blah. Complicity to murder and complicity to aggravated murder, and they gave me 4 gun specs because it was 4 of us. I said that's
Damn.
some fucking bullshit. So they offer they offered me 20 years. I said you're fucking smoking dope. I ain't do shit. Then I got it down to like 15 years. I said, I'm not doing no 15 years for a robbery I didn't commit. I didn't get shit. They're like, well, you knew. I said, I know all kinds of shit. Listen, I know a whole lot of unsolved mysteries right now. I know a whole bunch of people that didn't kill people. So what? That don't mean shit. Just because I know something don't mean shit. I have to attempt to make this crime. You know what I'm saying? So the fucking the lead detectives, the same ones that came to my door that were in the Blazers, they were the detectives for the whole case. On camera, like I was telling you how it looks in the first 48, they played the other two people against each other. So when they got there to the house after we took off and ran, they decided to wait to talk to the woman until the next day because they could tell that she was inebriated.
Mm-hmm.
What that means is when she called the dude over, that this was high. So they decided to wait to start the next day. So the next day, week, they kept playing to like, do you think that he would do something like that? Or do you think that she would do something like that? Now, both these dummies, they know exactly what happened. They both did help set it up. They in on the shit.
Mm-hmm.
So one like, oh, well, yeah, he did say he was tired of being broke, blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
And he said he wanted to pull a lick.
Wow.
So once they show him that she said that, he told every motherfucking thing. He told every fucking thing, word for word, even though he was in on it. He knew the person's name who was the trigger man because him and that girl were cousins. He stayed there with the girl because he was like a neighborhood friend, like friend of the family and shit like that, and they was tired of being broke. So he knew how old the dude was and what his name was because about a week before that, it was his birthday, 2 weeks before his birthday, and he heard it. He said, so when he snitched on him, he told him what his nickname was. Let's just say I just throw this out there. No, I ain't even gonna say it because that's too close.
Mm-mm.
But it's just a normal nickname that
Mm-hmm.
correlates with the real name. Like, say for instance, if we say Red is Reggie or Reg
Mm-hmm.
is Reginald, it's
Mm-hmm.
similar to that. So all they did was take that nickname, correlate it with the real name, right? Look in the database for a person that's this old. So now you know exactly how old he is, what his first name is, what kind of car does he have, and he said what kind of car it was. So all he did was put 6 people in, and he circled and put his name on it and said, that's him.
Wow.
And all you got to do is just look at records, and you can tell that them two parents, his brother and sister, boop, it's definitely him. Now, they don't know what my name is because he told them my name is X-rated.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if I would have just stayed in the house, they would have been never been able to identify me. That's how they caught me. So about 3 years before that, me and my baby mom had a verbal dispute because I wanted her to come home because I was trying to sell some pills to somebody, right? So I couldn't find my key. I ended up leaving the door open. She sent her mom to come lock the door while I was gone. I was locked out. I kicked the door in, right? Completely. They called the police. They know my name, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the trigger man, they hit her with the car, they said, who's this person that's 6'3" with braids named X-rated? She said, I don't know nobody named X-rated, but he has a friend named Reggie. I don't know his
Wow.
last name, but
Wow.
do you want me to call his phone? She called the phone, same number. She left on the voicemail. Reggie, they're saying XYZ killed somebody, and you know exactly what happened.
Wow.
Call me. I don't know what's going on. Boom. Now they got me. They did the same exact thing, put me in a 6-person lineup. He circled my face and said he's just a little bit older than that and he got braids. Boom. And they got me. So look, so back to the other story. So how it still looks like the first 48.
Mm-hmm.
And they're telling him what she says. And he tells everything. Officers are going too far with the shit. They're like, oh, now you know, if making like you got robbed too, it makes the story look better. Why are you telling him to lie? Why are you doing it?
Wow.
You telling him to lie on me. That's what you're doing. Now, let's fast forward. 9 months down the road. Now, all of a sudden, it's time for trial. He's saying that I robbed him for a gold chain
Wow.
and $50. Right? Now, I don't even know that he's saying this until about 2 weeks before my trial started. So my lawyer tells me, he's like, oh, I got something for that shit. Now, my lawyer is still trying to. Oh, you want to wrap this up in a little bit?
Yeah.
So look, so I'm gonna finish this last part. So my lawyer is still trying to tell me to take a deal, but down in his possessions, right? There's some Nikes. There's a coat. Anyway,
Mm. Wow.
we'll pop there.
That's crazy though.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. So this was an interesting. This went a little longer than I thought, but you did say this would have took a while. So we're gonna wrap this up.
Told you.
Nah,
I
but this is
told
cool
you.
though. But this is cool. You know why? Because now it gives me a reason to do a part two, and that way we can talk about the rest of the stuff that I was going to talk about in this one. So we're going to wrap this up for where we at now, and we're going to do a part two. And I will, ask you more questions, a little bit more pertaining to this, but a lot more stuff pertaining to the other stuff that you got going on. But this is just the first part for now. So we're just going to wrap this one up, and I'll get back with you for part two.
Okay.
All right. All right. So take it easy, brother. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this part one. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Keep it raw, uncut, sit down, talk it out, come together, we as men don't have to shoot it out.